Hello and welcome to another episode of Grange TV. We have with us Mr. David Roberts, the ever racially ambiguous biracial angel, Mr. Man. Robert Whittaker, and UFC legend, Hall of Famer, Mr. Matt Serra. Thank you so much for being with us. You're our first guest.
Ever.
Like this, yes,
first,
ever. Yeah.
Wow! That's quite the honor. Thank you.
We were 90%.
The excitement got to him.
I'm off to a great start.
Yeah,
just to get an idea, everybody in Australia. Where is this being played?
Sydney, Australia.
Now?
Yeah, Sydney, Australia.
Okay. So, first of all, I was just there recently. Obviously, I seen you there, Robert, and everybody's so fucking nice in Australia. Oh my god. But it's later now. I don't know what time it is there, but it's 10 p.m. here. So if I seem a little shot, I'm in the front in my driveway in my car. I just put my kids to sleep. I got 3 young girls, and as you know, I'm a fucking loudmouth. So I know I'm gonna wake the whole house, and my wife's gonna yell at me. I'm not gonna get any action later. So I'm in the front of I'm in my driveway.
Yeah, so we can tell you're in your nice big car.
Okay, I like that I gave everybody that useless information. So what's going on, man?
No, thank you so much for jumping on. Obviously, you just said how hard it is to get you at the same time. The timelines are so hard to work out. So we're so happy for you to be our first guest.
Oh, I'm excited, man. Really quick though, who's the gentleman over you? I'm sorry. Who is that guy with the hat and the hair?
That's Fab when he was younger.
We don't know.
Who is it?
No, we don't know. They put the wall up for us, and they just put the guy up in the background just now, just today.
All right. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. Let's start now. No, it's awesome. No, I mean, I'm just going to let you know I'm not going to be the last guy to ask who that guy is.
Nah, you know what? It might be a really good talking point for us moving forward. You know, I don't know.
You might want to put it with something with Robert, like getting the belt or knocking somebody out.
It's free content.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck that
free
was.
content. That's what that is.
Dude, I'm staring. I see more of him than I do of you. I see half of Robert's face, and I'm looking at this fucking guy. I'm sorry. All right. So what's up, man? What's going on, guys?
No, just obviously been a big fan of your team and you guys and the way, not so much. Obviously the results you guys have had have been really great, phenomenal with yourself as well. But also the way you guys have carried yourselves and that over the career, you know, that I've been watching, the way you carried yourself as a fighter, and you know, now the fighters that you have and the way Ray Longo carries himself and that, and just been big fans of that, you know. And then luckily got to meet you guys on the weekend, and yeah, you didn't try and take my shoes or anything like that, so you know, you lived up to it.
What is it? Now, I see a lot of love. I get a lot of love from the people down under, and I'm not the only one from my team. Longo, Raging Ally, and Quinta. What do you think it is with the New Yorkers and the Australians and the people over there? What is it? What do you think it is?
Do you want to go first?
No, please.
I think probably Sydney and Melbourne and New York. I think have I'm not going to compare Sydney and Melbourne to New York, but they're big cities. You know what I mean? Sydney and Melbourne, like kind of. And I think you guys in particular are pretty genuine, like straight people. Like I think like there's no bullshit in like the trash talk or whatever. It's just who you are and what you say you feel, and I think that's probably the genuineness that people like, in particular. I think people in Sydney. What do you think?
Yeah, it's exactly that. I think like with you guys and your team, it's like what you see is what you get, and you're very outspoken and you're very straight cats. And I think the Australians in particular, like we like that sort of stuff. We like no bullshit, no masks, no fakes. Like we just what you see is what you get, and like I think we can all really respect that.
That's awesome, man. No, I like that. No, I just noticed. You know, Robert, when you're with your DMs or whatever, people like your fan mail, it's like I get a lot of shit from Australia, and it's always positive. I don't think I ever had an Australian give me no negative shit. I swear to you. So I don't know. And then I was just there, and Longo couldn't get over it. Longo's like, he goes, everybody should have spent time there. The CEO, you should treat people Longo gets crazy, but you know.
I guess one of on that, you're talking about getting a lot of positivity and everything. Like obviously, how's things going with Chris? Because we both of us have been big fans of Chris always. I guess it's easier even to make the contact now that they probably won't fight. I don't know what's happening there with Chris.
Well, Chris is he's on vacation in Hawaii. His wife's got family there, and I'll tell you this much: I don't know much more than you, other than he was in my school the Tuesday after and strangling people and looking like a beast. But I don't know any more than you. I know he put out a statement, and it was very heartfelt, and that's about as much as I know. So, I don't know if you read his statement. I think he
absolutely.
Yeah, because
that's about as much as I know, buddy.
Yeah, no, I feel for him because I was a huge fan of his, and then I went up to middleweight, and then I had to try and pull back the fanboy a little bit because we may have fought at some point, and now luckily enough, Chris has moved up to light heavy, so I'm back on it, and now the guy has had a fucking hard run. He has fought nothing but killers in the last 5 or so years, nothing but killers, and it's just been hard.
And he's been in every fight, even though the last one was short. And that guy could put, and props to Dominic Reyes, he could put anybody to sleep in one punch. Yeah. He showed that. So, this game, one little error at this level, and it's not your night. That's about, when I tell people that I was lucky, like in my career and whatever, and I have my share of losses, but they go, oh no, what do you mean you put hard work in? I'm just saying, one zig should have zagged. I got a whole different career. I got buddies like Pete Drago Sell that he should only have a couple losses. He had fights where he should have won these fights, and then there were devastating losses. So it's a rough sport. You know how it is, brother.
He's the guy who got hit in the liver, eh? Is that
yes?
Yeah.
No, he's the one who hurt Scott Smith with the rib shot, and then he went in for the kill,
and
he got laid out.
That was but that's what you're saying. That shot should have ended that Scott Smith guy. You know what I mean? It's just one of those. Have you seen that?
No.
He hit Scott Smith in the liver, and it looked like he was out.
Yeah.
And he rushed in to get him, and the guy had one punch left in him and hit him.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah.
After he landed that shot, he was on the ground for a while. So but only fools rush in type of thing. It's a hard lesson to be learned. He had him dead to rights. He rushed in with an uppercut. He rushed into a right hand. So again, man, there's a lot of instances where I could have won fights, like my debut with Shoney Carter, where it went into a decision. Maybe I would have got it. I forgot. It was pretty close. But how many seconds left? I was in my guard. I get up. I just run after him and run right into a back fist. And it's so obvious to see now if you look at it. It's so amateurish, but yeah. I didn't have the rounds clocked in. And again, if I would have ducked, it would have been a different,
Mate,
thing. It's a crazy game, man. It's a crazy game.
You are preaching to the converted.
What's that?
You are preaching to the converted, mate. Trust me. When I say exactly as you said before, you should have zigged when you zagged, and that's the game, and that's how fast things can flip on you, which makes it attractive as it is for us as competitors, because it's that sort of shit that makes you want to do it, but it also is what makes it so friggin' hard.
Matt, I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
You're talking about the reception you receive in Sydney and Melbourne, and then when you're at home, you obviously would get a lot of love when you're winning. How hard is it? Do you get a different reception at home?
With what?
When you're not doing well, have you guys when Chris hasn't been doing well or whatever? Do you find more criticism at home?
Well, as far as criticism, the people never come up to you the wrong way usually. I'm sure it's the same with Robert. People know they know your profession. They're not going to come up rude. But you do have the idiots, and sometimes it'll surprise you. Like, you'll get hit with stuff, and it's like, you'll be surprised that somebody would come out with something so idiotic. It's hard to say the right thing after a loss, because even the best guys, when they're like, hey, just try harder. People, you just want to smack everybody. So the best thing to say is nothing. You really are just, hey, man, it's the way it goes, I remember one time, it was after my BJ Penn fight. It was a close fight,
That was a big fight. Yeah.
Yeah, man, shit, man. It was ages ago. But it was a close fight, and it was at a time when BJ's a killer. And I was at the local fucking CVS, not CVS, the vitamin shop place, So I'm getting a protein bar. And there was this little short guy behind this. And I'm saying the guy's up to my shoulders. And I'm a midget. So the guy, he's in there. And he's like a little short black guy. He goes, hey, man. He goes, and he's always a nice guy. He goes, yeah, I saw your fight. I go, oh, yeah, man. It was close, It was a close fight. He goes, yeah, can I just tell you, that third round, it just didn't look like you wanted it enough. You could have. I go, hey, dude. I go, hey, man. I go, dude. I go, give me the fucking protein bar and give me the fucking Quest bar. Get me the fuck out of here. I couldn't take it, dude. I wanted to kill him. I never went back. It's just like something so stupid. And I'm like, I felt like something out of Seinfeld. I'm like, you're a cashier. What the fuck are you talking about? Fucking funny.
Yeah, and that's one thing. Like, I think a lot of guys after a loss, I get it, and it's just like it's all the super coaches that come out of the works that start messaging you and DMing you, and they're like, you should have done this, you should have done that. Like just walking up the street to get your groceries, a guy will come up to me and be like, how do you feel? Like, maybe you should have. What was the game plan? I was like, oh man, like, I'll fucking kill you right here and now, like.
Everything in hindsight's gonna be crystal clear, and you got guys that come out of the woodwork, and especially when you're doing well, and they just kind of want their names attached to you, and it gets. That's why, I never criticize. I mean, I like the guys that stick with the guys that brought them to the dance type of thing. You know what I mean? The guys that. But don't get me wrong, like. Guys are traveling, they want to get some work in with other people. By all means, you don't want to be that guy or that kind of camp. But, I feel like me and Longo have a tight thing going on. Like, I'll tell you what, Robert, if Longo stops cornering people, I believe I'm out also, to be honest with you. We have a good thing together. All the guys that we corner, like, I really care for each. Now, I mean, they've been with us so long. Even these new group of guys, what good guys. But we like everybody. We love everybody. They're good. We're real close, It's so funny. It feels like this yesterday Chris walked into the gym, and now the dude's 35. It's just insane to me. So it's like, I don't know, you get tight, but I'm not working the corner for anybody that I don't, like, genuinely like. I don't just jump in a corner. It's weird for me. And I hate working the corner with a fucking idiot. Yeah. I like working the corner with Longo. Yeah. I love me, Longo, Raging Al. I love me, Longo, Aljo. I love that. Drago, I love it because no one's just trying to get camera time. You're there for the dude in the cage. You want him to do well. How's he gonna do? Oh, Longo, what are you saying? Let me yell out to do. We're all there for the same guy. We're all in that foxhole together. The worst is the guy that just wants his face on camera. You want
100%.
I don't need that shit, man. I don't need to have my face. I can be happy at home teaching fucking my Kimuras. I'm fine.
I have a question for you. Like, obviously, when you guys were coming up, like when Chris was doing well, it looked unbeatable. One of the things that I really admired was, and maybe you can shed some light, how you guys all kept it together when Chris started losing. Not that he wasn't in the fights, because he absolutely was, but the pressure that you would feel, the pressure that he would feel, how did you guys keep all of that together and do it so well the way you guys did it?
Well, listen, every fight is its own situation. Like, you can make a case for each fight. it's not like he's ever been getting outclassed, especially in that Jacare fight.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
for the a lot. Listen,
most of his fights he was winning.
He's not getting outclassed. He shot in like a demon in that last fight, getting Dominic down. You know what I mean? Dominic got back up to his credit, but it's like he never looked slow. He never looked. There's things maybe he did slow, maybe something was off, but he.
Oh no.
The problem is everybody remembers the ending, of course. So
Yeah, 100%.
The Jacare fight was mostly a awesome fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Until the end.
Chris has never been in a bad fight, but
Yeah,
I don't think
there isn't a fight in his last.
He hasn't.
Like
He's always fought.
Like he has been winning. Like a lot of these fights, he's been in it the entire time. Like, and
it's true. So
and then just right at the end, like that's how quick the tide can turn. It's just like you zig when you should have zagged.
He's dropped out.
Yep. So yeah, it's dropped out. It's dropped out.
Oh.
So what happens? What happens when this happens?
I don't know.
We'll try and call him back.
Yeah. So we, for all intents and purposes, are still live. Matt, he's back.
Oh.
He can't hear us.
We're working on it. Hold on. One second. Oh, can you hear me?
us?
Yeah, sorry, you cut out.
Hey, champ, what kind of shit show you running here?
We are.
No, it's 10 o'clock. Listen, I'm such a fucking jiu-jitsu guy. Even when I'm home chilling, I'm in my fucking Seragi pants. What the fuck? That's how I do it.
Hey, Matt, your jiu-jitsu, like, you were a silver medalist at Abu Dhabi, weren't you?
Yeah, yes, I sure am. I had such a good run over there. I had the honor, dude. I'll tell you, it was. I'm not saying it was different as far as competition. It's still obviously everything evolves, and the guys now are better than anybody ever was. But the tournament itself in 2001 in Abu Dhabi itself was it. I don't know if you ever saw Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
It felt like fucking Hans Island. Because you're out there, they're playing the fucking drums, whatever the music they're playing over there, and you walk in with each country, and there's like the bobblehead doll people, and you get the flags, and you line up, and you're in this big, huge place, and they're all on there. When you're competing, they're playing that crazy music, and it's they're on their couches. All the sheiks are on their couches watching. Dude, it felt crazy, man. So cool. What a cool experience.
And back then, that was the. Like, I mean, it's still the competition now, but there's so many more big comps now. But back then, it was the competition.
Oh, yeah, man. It was the, I'm pretty sure it was the only no-gi championship type submission championship in the world. I mean, it's definitely the most prestigious, you know? And it felt it too. But, I had such a good run over there. It's like, and that was like 3 weeks before my UFC debut. So you know what's funny? I remember I had such a good run there, and then I fought Shoney, so my jiu-jitsu was off the hook. But I definitely didn't. Listen. I was learning on the job as far as clocking in my rounds of sparring, standing up. You know, so where the fuck was I going with this? Bring me back, Robert.
Your jiu-jitsu was off the hook. First fight.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Listen, it's been a long day. So I did so well in Abu Dhabi. 4 weeks after, I'm fighting in the UFC versus Shoney Carter. I get him in an omoplata, and I'm almost ripping this. I almost have this thing dead. It's like dead to rights, but I don't get it. The guy was awkward and slippery as fuck. So I remember after the fight, fucking Longo, he goes, "If you would have after Abu Dhabi." If you would have finished that omoplata, they would have built a statue of you. I'm like, you fucking asshole. Robert, that's my coach. The worst thing to say. How bad the fuck? Anyway.
No, you were super successful in that competition. You didn't actually, and you didn't take a loss.
No, it's weird, that whole thing. You know what I mean? 'Cause the politics and stuff.
Yeah.
What do you call it? I had such a good run that okay, Robin, I'll give you breaking news. This is funny. I don't know if you ever heard that. No, but listen, man, I don't think Hensel gives a shit anymore. But you know, this is the deal, man. My first match, I'm looking at the brackets, and I'm with my buddy Rodrigo Gracie, and he's like, he was my roommate at the time, and he was a stud himself, you know. So we're looking at the brackets. He goes, "Oh man, dude," he goes, "you got a rough fucking side." Like, he goes, "You get past the first guy, you got the winner of this one. You got fucking John Jock waiting for you." So I'm like, you know, but I was living on the match. I was a fucking beast back then. Sorry, what was that?
No, go.
Oh, so, you know, but I was, like I said, man, I was 25. I was living on the mats. I was a fucking beast. And I was gung-ho about the whole situation. So, so I remember looking at the brackets, like, all right, I got this Japanese guy first. I'll wear my rash guard to get warmed up, you know. The Japanese guy ended up being Gomi. I didn't know Gomi at the time.
I was going to say.
Yeah, I didn't know who he was at the time. So I knew he was a Shudo fighter. But so I ended up taking his back and strangling him, you know. And on a side note, at the ceremony thing, like, I remember he gave me his shirt, and I gave him my shirt off my back, my Hensel Gracie shirt, which was so nice. But anyway, so my second match was with the great legendary Jean-Jacques Machado. So that was the equivalent of what I did in, like, MMA with GSP. I mean, that guy's a legend. He was fantastic. So for me to compete on the same mat with him, let alone win on, like, a negative point because he pulled guard or whatever. Even though I think I should have got 2 points on a reversal, but whatever, it's all good. But
we let it go. We let that go.
Yeah, we let that one slide.
I remember he stood. Whatever, but it was no, because I had such a good game plan, Robert, where my guard was really hard to pass. It still is, but not like that. Like, I was so flexible, and I was strong up top, so I could always get my little legs in. And so I'm like, look, man, after 5 minutes, there's points. So I go to guard. After 5 minutes, I don't know if I don't get anybody, they're not going to pass. And then
Yep. Hold on. 1 second.
Do it with your hand.
Well, 1 second. Sorry.
He's up to his little legs trying to pass. He's still.
We got really bad the net.
Yeah.
Hello? Can't hear him.
Can you hear us? Fucking internet. Unbelievable. Fucking unbelievable.
Alright. Ah, fuck.
Fuck.
What a...
Do it one more time and then just thank him.
Yeah.
So we're not keeping him up all night.
Gotta admire his patience for us.
Fuck yeah. just thank him. Just
I will.
thank him.
I will.
Yeah.
I'll just message him and thank him.
Yeah. All right. So are we back there to normal?
Back to normal.
Gonna have to work out the bugs on that.
Strange internet, man.
Let me just... Please forgive me, guys, watching. I need to apologise to Matt Sarah profusely.
So, guys, as you may or may not be aware, Australia is an island. We're way behind the rest of the world. Please donate generously to help us get the internet going in this country of ours. We're really struggling with it. but we will get better. I definitely think so. I want to take the time here while Robert messages to give a shout out to Mr. Beetlejuice. He has been with us from the very, very beginning. He's one of the staple of the Grange TV podcast, so thank you very much. I want to shout out to Akash Hotzi, the Canadian student who called himself the biracial angel during a presentation and failed the presentation. He sent me these messages. he had a presentation and he called himself the biracial angel, and the professor said, "Oh, are you bisexual? Please explain what it's like to grow up in Canada as bisexual." And then he was like, "Nah, I said it as a joke, but fucked up and failed." Omar Mendoza from Mexico, who is doing some studying and listens to the Grange in the background, and Justin Pafford. I don't know exactly who Justin was, but he asked for a shout out, so I'm fucking giving him one, because that's what we do out here. We make dreams fucking happen. Economy says, "Here's my weekly donation. We're starting a tradition out here," and gave $5. What a champion. The rest of the thing turned off. There's Robert furiously trying to spell Matsera on his phone. Furiously struggling with the English language. Look at that problem. Look at him. He's fighting a losing battle with the English language. And Johnny PD and Zach were just lovely enough to just donate some money to us. Thank you so much, guys.
Oh, Economy. Yo. How are ya? Economy's one of the guys from the Discord.
Yeah, can you explain the Discord? Because a lot of people are asking about it.
In case nobody knows, there is a Discord. I don't know what it is from the top of my head. Somebody from the Discord, please link the Discord in the chat. They'll work it out.
But what is a Discord?
A Discord is like a chat room that is open all the time. It's like, it's a program. It's a program that you can have like a lot of chat rooms in it. And you join a chat room that someone creates, and you can have like membership ranks and things like that. And it's just a big chat room where everybody can talk. They also have chat rooms where you can talk like verbally over microphones and stuff. And yeah, it's just like it's a chat room where it's like a team clubhouse on the web chat room sort of thing. Do you want to be involved in the chat room? You sure?
I don't even know what it is. That doesn't sound appealing.
You know what's funny? I hope you don't come, because you have the biggest support on the chat room.
Well,
it is,
thank you.
It is ridiculous.
But I don't understand what it is, you see.
I really broke it down.
But what do you do? Do you just go on there?
It's a chat room. You've never been in a chat. Surely you jumped on, what would it have been? MySpace?
Yeah. MSN Messenger?
MSN Messenger at some point?
Yeah, but only one-on-one with people.
Yeah, but now they're groups. Just picture like a group chat room where everybody can chat. It's like, your WhatsApp messages, like with everybody in it. It's like that.
But it's anyone can be a part of it.
No. Only if they get invites. So the general Discord, which is everyone's allowed as long as they get the link, which I'm hoping someone from the link can put it in the description and it's all there. Or click here.
I'd love to, but you haven't given me the link.
I don't know the Discord either. But someone will link it. It's so anyone can join that one. But to join certain rooms, to talk about certain topics, or to join the voice chats, or to things like that, you need like verification.
I have a question. What are we going to do about that fuck up, that abortion that occurred? Yeah. How are we going to fix that?
Mate, honestly, like...
How are we going to fix that, David? Mate.
I think we need a different internet connection.
We just fucking butchered my relationship with
you can't ever step foot in New York again.
We just butchered it.
We can't do it off our phone?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, but you don't use Apple, so you can't do FaceTime. Yeah. You need to get an Apple.
You have Apple, don't you?
Yeah, but that's what we were using, and that was the problem.
Yeah.
Like no, but you'd be able to do it. Yeah. Oh, fuck it.
We'll work it out. We'll work it out. Please comment below your suggestions.
And the camera was bad too.
Yeah, the webcam.
Oh, your webcam.
The problem is, I think if we're going to use the webcam, we need it to be on one angle or the other angle, and we need to both be sitting here, because it needs to be close enough, because we're using the webcam mic, but it needs to be close enough, but far enough so that it gets both of us here.
All right. Would you say that was David's fuck up there?
Fucking 100%. Like
that was he dropped the ball on that one.
You know, honestly, it's getting to the point where I think he's sabotaging this.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yep.
The only person that could have done worse is Eli.
Oh, don't bring him into it. Like that would have been bad. Can you imagine if Eli was trying to work all this shit together?
Mate, he would have been on the ground crying like a little girl.
In the fetal position. But thanks again, Matt. If someone relays this message, thanks again for coming. And we are so sorry we stuffed it up like this. Like,
but honestly, we will get better.
But we will get better. We will get better.
What do you think of the Ben Askren versus Maia fight?
We mentioned it a little bit before. Screw it, I'm just going to say. I honestly, it's probably my favourite fight this year, I think.
Just watching them go at it? Just
watching two grapplers, like two of the best grapplers in the game, just try to throw hands at each other. I loved it. Like, it was so entertaining because, like, they know their strong suit's not their hands. Like, they're not going to get shitty at me for saying that. But yeah, just watching two grapplers.
But Maia's stand-up was better than Askren's.
Oh, phenomenally better, but still far-fetched from everything else. Yeah. Like, but their grappling is the thing. Like, but yeah, I thought it was honestly, entertainment-wise, it was my favorite fight. But when they hit the mat and when they started grappling and wrestling, like, it looked like a high-level ADCC like match. It was just the scrambles, the attempted submissions, some of the sweeps from Maia. Like, to do that in an MMA setting against a guy who doesn't want it to happen, obviously, but to do it in an MMA setting, live, like, under the pressure and all that other fight, like, class, pure class. Like, it was fucking amazing, some of his sweeps. I think you could see Maia's experience really come out in that fight. Like, you could see he had ran that race before. You could see that, like, I'm the better striker, so I'm going to use that to my advantage. And he played the southpaw game, circled the right way, firing down the left straight down the pipe. Wasn't overcommitting on the shots so that he'd get messy in the clinch with that sort of stuff. Whenever they did clinch, he kind of just went real neutral, broke it off, like, didn't really engage in anything he didn't need to. I think he fought a really smart fight, and yeah, I think it was a great fight to watch, honestly.
How did Maia win it, and how did Askren, or did Askren lose it, or what happened in your opinion?
Maia was, I think Maia was doing all the right things. I think he was firing the left down the pipe, which stops a wrestler from, like, shooting forward real fast. Like, you have to worry about that. He wasn't overcommitting with more than, like, 1 to 2, maximum 3 shots at a time, because he didn't want to get that close with him. He wanted to keep it on the outside so that Askren couldn't get in there and muddy it up with the wrestling and get the takedown. Whenever they did get the takedown, Maia would just either fire off a submission, work a sweep, or create a scramble just to get back up and take it into a realm where he felt he had control of the fight. And he was just he stuck to what he was good at. Like, honestly, like, if I had to sum up Damian Maia's game plan and the way he fought and how he conducted himself that fight, I would just say experienced. He just looked like a veteran who had ran it before and was there. And then and I guess in the same sense of, like, where he won it and where Askren lost it, like, Askren gave Damian Maia his back. And I think I saw something.
You feel he gave it to him, or Damian Maia took it?
Nah, I saw an interview. So this is coming from the horse's mouth, if you would. Like, and he could have been saying that for other things, but I think Askren said he looked at the clock. He said he saw that there was only a minute left. He knew he knew he had worked the back position like the entire camp. He said he had smashed it and he felt comfortable there, so he gave it to him, and he said he was comfortable there, and then but Damian got it, you know, and he did. He gave props to Damian for still getting it. Like, you should never give Damian Maia your back, and Damian Maia, seeing an opportunity, like, took it as any vet would. Like, and the way he choked out Askren was really technical as well. Like, it wasn't like it looked almost like he was choking him with one arm.
He was.
Like, that is like, that's crazy. It's anybody go look around you. If someone's around here, try and do it. One arm now. No, actually, don't do that because I'll get in trouble. But that's hard to do. Very hard to do.
What do you think of the strategy that Askren employed? Because it looked like that he was happy to stand, or I don't know, but he looked like he was standing with Maia and then taking him down in the last minute or so of each round. That's what it looked like to me. What are your thoughts on that?
I think Askren wasn't like, I think his game plan was spot on. I think that's a great way. Like, that's how he's conducted himself in a lot of fights where it's been like this. But I think that Askren wasn't prepared for how well Damian Maia would be able to keep out range and break off the clinch and the wrestling, or even how well he could get back up like straight away. Because Askren has been able to hold down just about everybody, you know. And I think the game plan was. I think both guys had excellent game plans. I think they went in there and they both put the game plans out there, and they both hit them. And the rest is just what happens on the night. Like, both guys went out there, both guys laid out the game plans, they followed their game plans, and what ended up happening is just like, you can't plan for it. You can't plan for it. Like, the fight takes a toll. And there are a lot of unexpected things that pop up in a fight, during a fight, like not being able to close the distance because the left was striking. I was impressed with Askren's ability to start recognizing patterns with Maia's striking. He started adapting to that, like working the uppercut off the lead, and like working things like that. And I think both guys fought exemplary. I think it was great, honestly.
What do you think of?
I think like both guys fought super well, but one guy had to lose.
I think as well, as far as the strategy and the planning and that was great. But I think one of the things that I saw as a bit of a problem was when Askren would take Maia down, Maia wouldn't let him rest. Like, Maia was looking to get back on his feet, and so he couldn't really hold Maia down. Maia was very active with his guard and looking to get back, looking to stand up, and then not being able to hold Maia down doesn't let him rest, doesn't let him get his breath back, doesn't let him do anything. And then on the feet, Maia was getting the better of him. So that he wasn't really being able to rest standing up either, or to... That's how one of the things that I saw anyways in the fight. Yeah.
That's the thing. That's something we've seen in the last few weeks with like those high caliber wrestling guys going up against guys that can stuff the takedowns
or stand them up.
Or stand them up is that when they're not getting the takedowns, or when they can't get into a position where they're strong in and they can rest and regather the energy spent going for the shot, they're falling off, and it's hard because the energy levels are going like this, and they're starting to drain faster than their opponent.
What do you think of Douglas Lima versus Rory MacDonald?
That was a great fight to watch, wasn't it?
I thought it was,
yeah. Honestly, it looked like, I mentioned this a little bit before the podcast. It just looked to me like the leg kicks Douglas Lima landed on Rory in the first fight were still affecting Rory to in that fight. Like, the apprehension of getting kicked there and getting damaged there was still there. For good reason. Like, did you see the lump on Rory's?
It was crazy.
Chin? But from the first fight, still, like, there's still a massive lump. Like, and then like Douglas Lima was kicking it again, and those calf kicking throws are so crisp, so sharp, so pinpoint accurate. And you were saying like, and we're sure like he practices that.
Of
like,
course,
his timing is impeccable with those.
I think the context behind you saying he practices that is, I suppose, because the question would be, why didn't Rory check it? So I don't know. That's a question.
Yeah, like
I'm not criticizing Rory on it. But that's a question that people for sure will ask. Yeah. Why didn't he check it? Can you talk a little bit about what that's like in a fight?
Yeah. Well, I guess like sometimes like it's very hard because you're not up against something you've worked before, like you work with constantly. It's not like he has set patterns. When you're up against another guy in the octagon, you're working things out, working out patterns, like planning your attacks, counter-attacking their attacks on the spot. You're trying to work out what's going on as you're moving with it all. So it's very easy to like get caught in those traps where you get a leg kick and you're a little too slow, but then you think I want to attack, and then as you go to attack and you plant on your left leg, he kicks it again.
Or he jabs you because he was hitting him with a jab as well.
Or he jabs you. Yeah, and that's another thing. I think like playing on those leg kicks again, they opened up everything for Lima. Like his jabs were clean to get through there because like Rory was so apprehensive of those leg kicks, and man, it was a great fight. Like Douglas Lima like knew what he had to do and just fought so well patiently.
How you've trained with Rory? How good is Douglas Lima then?
Douglas Lima is phenomenal. Like he's very, very good because Rory is very, very, very good. Like just look at the names Rory's fought. Like,
what's that say then? Do you think for the divisions outside of the UFC? Because a lot of people would have thought Rory would go in there and just
kill everybody. No, I think the Bellator division and roster is just growing. I think the level of fighters across the board is going higher, and it's great to see like that they're growing the way they are.
How close do you think Rory was to winning those the rounds? Like how close do you think the rounds were?
I don't like the rounds. I would have given the first one maybe to Rory. Like it's hard to say. Like that one would have been on the fence. Maybe the second one, but you can see as the damage went on to Rory's lead leg, and then like once the apprehension was there, and Lima started getting to his rhythm where he could land his left jab. Rory wasn't getting the shots. You could see it was just becoming an uphill battle for Rory the entire time, and you could see as the rounds progressed, Rory was shooting more and more and more off the bat to try and like he knew he had to win some rounds. He had to get the takedown. He had to slow this down to win the rounds. And yeah, I think it was a close fight, but I don't think it was that close. Like I think Lima won it pretty handily.
What's that like though when you're no longer shooting? Because Rory, what it seemed like to me as well when he was hurt, he was no longer shooting off his say-so. He was shooting off Lima's, what I mean?
Yeah, he was just shooting like because he had to.
How hard is that to change that balance? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. Well, we've talked about it. We've talked about it on the podcast a lot. The rhythm of the fight. The ebb and flow of the fight. And the thing is, like, I think they almost out of the gate, Lima was kind of working the rhythm of the fight. Like he was stalking him down, he was popping that lead leg, he was implementing his jabs and hook game. He was stuffing Rory's shots the entire time, and you could see, like you can literally see the wave of the fight. Just like Lima had it, like he had control of the fight, and he was directing it where to go. And Rory was kind of working on that, like trying to take it back from him by bringing in the shots. He tried getting in there and working those front kicks. He tried to bring the flow back, but it was just Lima had it just locked, tight grip on that flow and just held it.
What do you think, Nate Diaz versus Masvidal? Who you got?
Yeah, I'm still like I'm gonna have to back myself and I think Nate can do it.
And why, but?
I think Nate can do it over 5 rounds. I think Nate, like especially after the way he fought Pettis last, like you could see he gassed a little. I'm sure he would have taken that into consideration, gone back to the camp, being like, nah, we're going to work twice as hard as we usually do. And granted, like he was still super fit when he fought him. Like so I'm sure he's going into this next fight better than ever.
But how do you see Nate beating George?
I can see him just, he's got really crisp boxing. And in his last couple of fights, I've seen him in a way that he's really working on how to avoid taking shots and just slip them, or taking them on places that he can take them and reduce the injury. I think he has just gotten better as he's been fighting, and I can see him just peppering him, and slowing him down in like the 3rd, 4th, 5th rounds, and just really start to. I can see him winning the last 3 rounds. Like once Masvidal slows down, I can see him just peppering him away and just.
Do you see Masvidal slowing down?
Yeah, because it's very rare to find a guy that can stand like and continue the same pace on like as the Diaz guys. Like the pace they work is that it's not only that they set the pace, they drag you into that pace. So you have to work this fast just to stay in the game. And yeah, I can see Diaz like just racking up the strikes and winning that way.
Playing devil's advocate then, how would you see George winning?
I can see him dropping Nate. Like George has the power there. Nate has chin though, and like he can be dropped and he just gets back up and things like that. But we've seen real knockout power there, and he can fight. Like he has a great standing skill set. Like if he wanted to take it to the ground, he could. But I think he really does have that like knockout power that you have to worry about, and he's super dynamic. Where like Nate's kind of like he's got like really crisp boxing, and that's kind of how he fights. But whereas Masvidal, he's just so dynamic. Like he can like throw these weird things and land.
Yeah. The other thing I see with Masvidal, he's very smart. You know, he's got a lot of experience. He had like 40-something fights. I think Nate's got a couple of inches in reach. Not just reach, like when I say reach, I don't just mean his arms are longer. Like he's a little bit taller. You know, can lean back a little bit, can lean forward a little bit. So I see that. But the other thing I see with George, he's got really good kicks. He's got really good kicks, and he might be able to employ that well against Nate with his on the legs. That's why I don't know over 5 rounds, because I know George he's smart. You know, he always comes in ready, prepared. So does Nate. I don't know that he won't be able to hurt him with some good leg kicks there.
Yeah, like I'd like to see if Masvidal like incorporates like a solid lead calf kick, because Nate has been like leg kicked a lot before, and that would certainly hamper Nate's ability to utilize his boxing to the fullest and drag it out into the later rounds.
And I think George is a guy that can hit the ground with Nate.
Yeah,
and hit it quite comfortably. I think. That's good. I'm really interested to see how that one goes. I'm going to go with Masvidal. I like Nate a lot. I was not sure, but now I'm going to go with Masvidal. I'm willing to have a friendly wager here on air.
Oh yeah, how much?
No, well, what could we bet on?
I don't know.
Okay, so I'd like everyone to see that Rob Whittaker backed out of.
What do you mean backed out? I said I don't know. Like,
he pulled out of yet another commitment.
You didn't say whether I wanted to take it or not. You said, what do we wager?
No, it's
what
no
are we
problem.
wagering?
Let's move on. Let's not embarrass yourself any further. What do you say about this?
You made me tired just then. You took the life out of me just then. You just drained me.
I said to you, let's bet.
No,
and I don't even want to bet against the
And then you hit me with your word garbage afterwards. You hit me with your word vomit afterwards, and you just started creating this lie and tale that was never in it.
You backed out, mate.
Oh my god.
Let's
you owe me $10 million anyway.
Let's just change the subject, Rob, and make you feel comfortable.
Yeah, please.
The positive test result, etc. What's your thoughts on that with Nate Diaz?
Mate, like I find it very hard to believe Nate popped for anything. Like the guy doesn't even eat meat. Like, yeah, I find it very hard to believe that. You know, especially with how blatant he was about it afterwards. Like he's like he didn't try to hide anything. Like he's like, no way, there's zero chance. Like
you know what I find funny, and I said this to you before. How they catch people on like this little microgram, blah, 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 but they can't catch dudes that if you gave them a baby, the baby would grow a beard if you touched it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I don't understand that. They caught Nate with that, and there's dudes that they can't catch. How?
Yeah, mate. There's just there's too many loopholes and too many things in the testing
inconsistencies.
System. Yeah, inconsistencies in the testing system. And
can you talk about that thing you spoke about the other day, like about how the testing before, like before the fight and after the fight, and how what you spoke about before? How
yeah, it's like I guess like even fight day. There's just things. There's just ways people can get out of stuff. Like fight day, you rock up and you're super hydrated because you've been rehydrating, but you have to get tested before the fight. And if you're super hydrated, your tests won't show anything because it's too diluted. And they're only allowed to test you twice before the fight. And then they can't test you again.
So both those times, like let's say you, and this has happened with you.
Yeah.
Just so people go, no, it doesn't happen now. Like this has happened with you.
Yeah.
So you go in there, you're hydrated. The USADA guy or ASADA guy in Australia, whatever, they come along and they say, I've got to test you.
Yeah, they test you, you pee, too hydrated, they follow you around, and then you build it up again, and then you go in, you're like, yeah, okay, let's do it again. You pee again, too hydrated, we can't test you anymore until after the fight.
And then, theoretically, after the fight, they don't necessarily test you after the fight, though.
Not always, no. And they don't always test you before the fight either.
And after the fight, if you go to the hospital,
if you go straight to hospital, they can't follow you.
So there's a lot. That's just fight day. And if you test, I think if you test positive on fight day, you should fire everyone that's on that staff that gave you a thing like that. Everybody you're going to get tested.
Everybody work in that lab.
Yeah. So just on that, there's just like so many little loopholes there.
Yeah.
And then obviously we've spoken before about how if you think so, how do you like the chances of Nate actually being? This is the thing. If Nate was positive, right? I still don't understand how of all people they caught him.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? Yeah. Like I really don't. And the stuff when it came out, I think it was from some microscopic thing that was in some like. It wasn't like it was traces of stanozol or something. It wasn't. It was nothing like that. It was like this minute little thing that was in some supplement, some obscure supplement or something that he takes for like vegan supplement or something. It was some. Yeah. It was some weird thing, like nothing. You know what I mean? Like it was literally nothing. He tested positive for that, and there's dudes out there. You're like, come on, dude. Like,
yeah.
Go just own up to it.
Yeah, you're taking the piss.
What do you think? On a completely different, changing topic completely. Did you see the thing with Brett Finch and the mental health?
Yeah, I did.
Dave, did you see it?
No.
Okay, Dave is ill-informed. Go on.
Yeah, no, my heart goes out to him because, it's...
Do you want to talk about it? Because I like people won't know like what...
So from what I read, like this is going off the articles, is that he kind of had a breakdown on a plane.
Brett Finch is a famous rugby league player in Australia for anyone that's watching.
And he had a sort of breakdown on a plane where he just wouldn't get off it. And he mentions in the article that like where he's in a life of like trying to chase highs after football, like and I can relate to that because like fighting's very much similar, like where you're kind of always chasing the high of a win. Like you're chasing victory because you want that win and you're the big fish and all the lights are on you. And I can completely relate to it because it's easy to get caught up in because when you're chasing the highs, once the highs are no longer there, you're kind of kept in this limbo where nothing is good anymore.
In one of the articles I read, and he said he spoke to some therapist or whatever, and the guy, I think it was, and I'm paraphrasing, but it was something along the lines of the person said to him to try and take joy in like normal basic things, like try and see a sunrise or something. And he's like, what are you fucking talking about? Like, you want me to go watch a sunrise, and this guy was playing State of Origin, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how do you see, like, what can you do moving forward? Is that something you worry about, like life after fighting?
Yeah, certainly. I think it's something you have to start preparing for and bracing for before you retire, like long before it. Well, actually, I think it's something you can prepare for at any given time. But preparing, laying down the foundations and the platforms and the systems to have a healthy mental health. Oh, I said that weird.
No, but it makes sense because everyone's got mental health.
Yeah.
It's just not necessarily healthy sometimes.
Yeah. You got to be healthy, upstairs. And in order to do that, you have to start this stuff now.
How do you see, like, how can you duplicate or replace those highs?
the thing is I don't like, and this is me personally. Like, I am no doctor, so don't quote me. But I think it's less about chasing the highs and more about just leveling out your emotions and your balances. Like, you shouldn't ever be really getting to a point where you're like, this is the best in the world. Everything should just be happy. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's about balance. I think your emotions should never spike to those extremes. You know, because people don't realize you can't only positive spike. You can't only be super happy. You're gonna. It also has the other end, which is like super sad. And if you play on extremes, like, they're both there. It's like the gradients here, the grid. You know what I mean? The graph. So I think it's more about balance. You know, like making the graph or the grid. What are they called? The waves. I shouldn't know this. I'm electrical.
I don't know. Don't ever get Rob to put the electricity in there. Band waves? I don't know. Like, I don't.
Yeah, there are waves, but I think it's about narrowing.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
The highs and lows, and just trying to be more constant with your emotions. You know, less about extremes. Too much of anything isn't healthy for you. Whether it be happiness or sadness.
You didn't see it at all, Dave, either, the Brett Finch thing? No. All right, do we have any questions from our audience, Dave, that we can answer?
The $1 million questions.
The $1 million questions. If you could, we can't see it here.
Fab is a demanding taskmaster, isn't he, mate? Tell us, Dave. How do you put up with someone like Fab?
No comment.
No comment.
Where is it gone?
Hey, yo.
Just shout outs, Rob.
Well, shout out please to Alexander Stage, Johnny PD twice. What is DKK? What currency is that?
I don't know. I was going to ask you the same thing.
Alexander Stage, DKK. I'm going to look that up. Thank you, Alexander Stage, Johnny PD, Ian Fraser, New Zealand $20. Thank you very much, Johnny PD. Again, Johnny PD is building a story from how he's commented. I'm going to say, like, he threw one. He's like, nah, this is pretty good. And he gave another one, and he goes, you know what? This is probably the best podcast I've ever seen. And he threw a lump sum at us.
What's CA?
Canadian dollar.
Canadian.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hey, do you know what currency DKK is?
Probably Denmark. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Ian Fraser, thank you. Johnny PD rolled 8th. Love you, Whittaker.
Who was the guy? Who was the guy that put it up there?
Up the top, Alexander Stage.
Alexander Stage, where are you from, mate?
Look at Fab shamelessly trying to get more out of here. Like, hey!
No, you don't have to give any more money. I just want to know where you're from.
Well, how are we going to find out?
He could post on the normal link. That's the end of the link.
Shamelessly.
You can figure out the rest.
Rolled 8th. Love you, Whittaker. Thank you very much, mate. Zach, the end of the link. You should figure out.
Hold on. Where are you reading, Rob?
Zach. Yeah. Well, these are just shout-outs because there's no real questions.
Okay, but HMS Platypus wants to know if we can settle the debate. Fairy bread. He gave £5, so this fella's from England.
So this is an important question.
Yeah. Fairy bread, is it Australian culture or utter trash? Fairy bread, Rob? Australian culture or utter trash?
Utter trash.
Did you eat fairy bread as a kid?
I did. I never liked it.
I don't think the sugar highs would have been good for you.
Hey?
I don't think the sugar highs would have been
good for me.
Yeah.
I don't think that would have been good for you.
Did you like fairy bread, Dave?
No, yeah.
As
a kid, yeah.
What do you think? Is it Australian culture or utter trash?
I don't know about culture. Surely it's not culture.
It's trash. It's trash.
I just love how Australia gets the bullshit culture stuff. Like, throw a shrimp on the barbie. We don't even say shrimp.
No, we don't.
Yeah, like, we just get random stuff like...
And everyone just eats prawns the way they are. You don't cook,
you don't cook prawns on the... Yeah, that's another thing. You rarely do you cook... I don't cook the prawns on the barbie.
No, I just eat them.
No. And fairy bread, I was always... You know what? I used to go to before and after school care when I was a kid with my sister. And that's what the afternoon snack was cordial in a plastic cup, and fairy bread, and Vegemite sandwiches, and never again. I will not. I don't eat fairy bread. I can't drink cordial out of a plastic cup, and Vegemite I can't do.
I love Vegemite.
You like Vegemite?
Love Vegemite. And cordial.
No.
What the fuck?
I like cordial, but I can't drink it out of plastic cups.
Cook your toast for about a minute 30 so that it's still a little white and soft. And a little bit of butter, a little bit of Vegemite, glass of milk, cold glass of milk. Bob's your uncle.
There you go.
Take it to the bank, guys. Go do that. Probably now. It's pretty good.
That's it for us for this week, I think.
Yeah.
Isn't it, Dave? Thank you very much, guys. And
what an exciting podcast this one was.
it was.
We had ups, we had downs.
It had everything. It was like a microcosm of life. You know? But we didn't quit at all.
Can I just can we just make a special shout out to Kaplan Homes for the interior decorating?
It was pretty brutal. I like the photo. I like this little thing that they put up there.
I don't like this photo too much. Like, look how much thigh I'm showing.
It's rather raunchy.
I feel like I should have had to sign off on that.
I like it. It's rather raunchy.
Like, look how much thigh is there.
There is a little bit of thigh there.
A lot of thigh.
I like it. Alex is not impressed by it whatsoever.
I love how your ankle's strapped. Always strapping.
That one, no, it wasn't this fight. It was the fight before that one was the one where you chipped my tooth. Which, by the way, you said to me, oh, I'll pay you for it, blah, blah, blah. Never got a cent because trying to get money out of Rob is like watching someone deadlift 20-cent coins. It's pretty hard. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much.
Cheers,
See you
guys.
soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Are we off?